Welcome, everybody. This is Expecting More Dialogues. Today, we're going to be talking about police violence and the impact that it has on Black and Brown people, particularly people that have to bear witness to it. Expecting More is a project that assumes that the well-being of moms are a bellwether for the well-being of all of us. So if moms aren't okay, society in general is not okay. And police violence is something that impacts moms too. And we brought three people together today to talk about that. The first is Diamond Reynolds, who the world got to know when she courageously filmed the aftermath of having her partner, Philando Castile, murdered at the hands of police with her 4-year-old daughter in the back seat. And we've also brought together Dr. Rachel Hardiman and Dr. Rhea Boyd, both of whom are experts in thinking about the intersection of public health and racial equity, and specifically how police violence is a public health issue and a public health emergency in many ways. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So we're going to have a conversation in two parts. In the first part, Dr. Hardiman and Dr. Boyd and Ms. Reynolds are going to talk together about what it's been like for Diamond since that event in the summer of 2016. And then we're going to come back together again and talk about what that means for how institutional violence works in policing and healthcare and other settings, and what we can ultimately do about it. So thanks so much for being a part of this, and we'll get to it.
So I was going to lead off, Diamond, and ask you the first question. Okay. So I live in the Bay Area in California, pretty far from where you live. And like the rest of the country, I got to know you through probably one of the most tragic moments of your life. I am really most curious about how you're doing and what you've been up to since we all witnessed the murder of your love.
Yeah. Well, since 2016, my passion for helping people and educating people is really been like my gateway to healing. I've been trying my best since 2016 to just stay productive, to stay proactive, to build relationships with people, to get my story out there. It's been extremely difficult though. Like any life, you have barriers and challenges. Unfortunately, because the police officer wasn't held accountable for his wrongdoing, the world needed someone to blame. Minnesota needed someone to blame. And because the officer, what seems he had right to kill, which he really didn't, the people have made Philando's death my fault. So with that, it's been harder for me to build relationships, to start nonprofits, to create LLCs, to organize myself, to advocate for myself so that I can use my story to educate other people. However, because the media and the news have crucified me to look like a monster, my life has been just hell on earth. For every positive thing that I've tried to do, there has been a spiral effect of negative. And for me, it's been extremely sad and hard because I know with Phil working with kids, how important it was to him to have a legacy that lived on. And even though we weren't married and we didn't have biologically any children together, Minnesota has discredited me for going live and putting myself and my daughter's life on the line. So it's been very, very, very extremely hard and challenging. I feel out of place in Minnesota. I feel not wanted in Minnesota. I feel ganged up against here. And I don't feel like I can reach my full potential being here because everyone needs someone to blame, and I'm that person.
Thank you, Diamond, for being so open and for sharing your pain so openly. You know, as a Minnesotan myself, I'm born and raised here, as I shared with you, and moved back after being away for many years. And I think one of the interesting things is Minnesota, gets this sort of reputation as a great place to live. But we don't ever stop to think about who is it great for, right? Because it's certainly not for, people of color and Black folks in particular, as you've just described. And, I'm certain this, what you shared has had an impact on your daughter and your family as well. How is your daughter doing?
Diana has faced probably more challenges than I have.
Mm,
Going to a predominantly white school, um, going to a school with mostly minorities, but not a lot of Black. In the beginning, Diana was teased a lot about Phil not being her biological father or her mom not knowing who her biological father was. But Diana has always believed in her heart that Phil was her father. He was not just a father figure, he was someone who she knew, someone that she grew to love. And with the love that he instilled in Diana, even after death, she was able to carry that love on. And that when people tease her and when people make her feel like it was our fault, she educates them and she let them know that we weren't wrong, that the police were wrong. And with that, it's been difficult for her to build relationships and to make friends
mhm,
because children are very not always nice. We have a lot of social media outlets that our children are on, such as TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, and those type of
mhm,
things. And because Diana is so active, I try not to shield her from the world because I know if I do that, she's gonna live a lie. So
mm,
Diana has this thing about herself where she's very inquisitive and she wants to know everything and she has questions and she thinks she has all the answers. And she since then have had a lot of flashbacks about Phil. She doesn't really go into detail. I'm not sure what all Diana remembers. I know I can still smell the gunpowder. I can still see the blood on his t-shirt. I can still hear myself screaming. I can still hear my voice and the police going screaming at each other. Well, I wasn't screaming at him. I was calm, but in my body I was screaming.
yeah.
And Diana has took everything from that incident and reminded me that, Mom, remember when we were in the back seat of that police car and I told you that you were going to be okay? And she always quotes to me what she said to me in the back seat of that police car. And I think just her knowing that she was the only person I had left to depend on for comfort has really helped her progress in her life with
Mm,
knowing that Phil is in a better place because she really believes that he's in a better place. So
thank
she's
you.
stronger than I am. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen her cry, but
Wow,
that doesn't mean she's not hurting.
absolutely.
So yeah,
I
she's
work,
very resilient.
Yeah.
it sounds like it. I work as a pediatrician, so I take care of kids, and I'm struck by how you've described something similar that happened to you and your daughter after the event, which is that you
Mhm,
both faced increased scrutiny in a way that the
yeah.
police did not. Your
Yeah.
family composition face scrutiny, your
Mhm.
parenting face scrutiny that your daughter
Yeah.
also felt and that you had to contend with. I think
Yeah.
when we talk about police violence and its impact on communities and families, this is a piece that often doesn't float to the top.
Yep.
You know, we usually talk about what it's like to have a family member not present. We rarely talk about what it's like for families to then go through the ringer, for people to
Yeah.
doubt the choices they made in the middle of that crisis.
Yep.
So first, I just want to say I'm so sorry that has happened to both of you.
Yeah.
It's completely unjust and wrong, and you don't deserve it. It's so hard to hear you
Not
say those
fair.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like, I
not
don't
fair.
want this to be my life. I hate
Yeah.
it. I hate it so much. I hate it for my daughter's future. I hate it for my own future. Before I could
Yeah.
get a job working anywhere. If I wanted to work
Mhm.
at a McDonald's, I could get a job there. If I wanted to work
Mhm.
with kids, I could get a job there. Now, I can't get a job anywhere, not even at a McDonald's, because people discriminate against me. They judge me based off what they've heard. And it's just like, I want my normal life back. It wasn't the best, but I was
Mhm.
content. And now I'm unhappy and I'm
Yeah.
miserable because there's so many voids there.
Yeah.
And I'm
I'm
trying to
so
be
sorry.
strong and not show emotions for my daughter, but she knows that we're struggling. She's seen
Yeah.
all the things I've had to endure, the hate,
Mhm.
and she wants to be strong for me, but realistically, she knows that the only way we'll be happy is if we move out of Minnesota. And
Yeah.
because I can't provide that for her right now, it makes me feel bad because every day she says, Mom, I just want to get out of Minnesota. Mom, I thought you said we're leaving Minnesota. Mom, Mom, when are we going to leave Minnesota? And I want to provide that to her, but financially I can't, and I don't have any support to do so.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel like I'm failing her because of her expectations of me.
Mm.